I have finally managed to complete my reform dress for Juul and Fanny's reformed dress. I can't do this and talk at the same time for some reason. Okay, hashtag reform dress challenge. Hello and welcome to a video that has been in the making for a long time. So there's Juul and there's Fanny, and together they decided to organize a challenge, the reform dress challenge. Now the reform dress was something, I'm just gonna pretend that I know what I'm talking about here. I don't. You know who does know what she's talking about? Retro Claude. So go and check out her video on the reform dress. Anyway, this is my take on the reform dress. Now in this video, you'll hear me talking about a deadline. This deadline came and went. Actually, folks, the deadline I was mentioning was the COVID deadline, because Juul and Fanny also organized a hashtag sort of red carpet for those of us who participated in the reform dress challenge and wanted to show their reform dress. Now I did manage to get my reform dress sort of wearable, and I did in fact post a picture on Instagram for that hashtag challenge COVID thing, but then the deadline had gone. And for those of you who have ADHD like myself, that can be quite of a challenge to get back on track. No deadline. Don't get me wrong, sometimes deadlines give me a lot of stress, but sometimes they can give me a lot of energy too. And once the deadline was gone, energy was gone. And it just sort of dragged on, and I did a little bit of embroidery here, and I did a little bit of embroidery there. Finished the belt properly, because if you see the picture of me wearing it on Instagram, what you don't see is that the belt is held together with a pin. With a pin, yeah, just a pin. Anyway, that's fixed now. I fixed it with hooks and a little snap, and I dare say the dress is now finished. And what you're about to see is my journey of making the dress and the reveal, where I show you the dress in its sort of finished state. Or do I? Because the beauty about this, I think, is that there is room for more. And I have finished it in a way that is satisfactory to me. I can wear it and I can think, yeah, it's finished. I dotted all the I's, I crossed all the T's. However, I can see myself in the future adding more to the dress. Maybe I'll add a little bit of embroidery at the hem. Or maybe I'll add some more embroidery at the neckline. That's one of those things I love too, where you can just have a project that you can wear, but you can also keep going. And it will keep changing with time, because you keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And I am hoping that this reform dress is gonna prove to be such a project, because I already love it. And many thanks to Juul and Fanny for organizing this challenge and introducing me to this wonderful phenomenon of the reform dress, because I now too have been bitten by the bug. I love the reform dress, and I want to know more about it. I want to learn more about it, and I feel like at one point I will want to recreate another one, and then maybe a history bounding one that's going to be shorter. And it's been a real journey, and I love where it's taken me, and I look forward to making more reform dresses in the future, possibly even historically adequate ones, which this one markedly isn't. So here we go.
I entirely forgot to mention that Opus Elenai also made a reform dress for this challenge and made an excellent video on the making of process. I'll link it in the description box below. So my plan was to first make a quick wearable mock-up out of this curtain I found lying around at my mom's place. It was very nice and soft, and I love the color, which was a sort of olive green. However... Okay, I am really regretting this fabric choice right now. It appears to be covered in, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it has stains, but not stains. It appears to be bleached a little bit in some places, and that's kind of a turn off. I love the color and the softness of this fabric, but it's also kind of not very great to work with because it's very sort of like linen. It goes every which way. So I'm thinking if maybe I should not just skip the whole mock-up altogether and just use fabric that I do have enough of, but that maybe is a less nice color. it's that maybe is not such a beautiful color, but yeah. I ended up ditching the curtain and using this grey fabric that I have a whole roll of. It came from my sisters, who at one point had a vegan fair trade clothing label called Twin Couture because they are in fact twins. Sadly, the label is no longer, but on the bright side, they gave me all their leftover fabric. Yay! This is a moment where I've actually stopped and double check if it was the right size, and that's new. It's a new development for me. Normally I would not have done that. I wouldn't have thought of it, but now maybe I am learning after all. There is hope for me yet. I feel like I'm jinxing this so badly right now. So badly. Something would... There, unjinxed. Away. Onwards. Not the best cutting I ever did, but it'll do. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I have abandoned all hope of even trying to get it to be remotely historically accurate because the fabric that I've chosen for this is not conducive. Conducive? Is that a word? Is not playing nice. It's not playing along. Because I'm trying to make a felled seam, but it shows very much because this fabric is very supple. No, not subtle. Supple. This fabric is very supple and very flowy and drapey, and therefore I should have done French seams. Or maybe not. The underarm seam flows directly into the side seam, if you know what I mean. That's a rather sharp bend. I can't imagine French seams working very well in this way. Can you? French seams are very good for flowy and drapey and such kinds of fabrics, and therefore my felt seam was a stroke of not genius but a stroke of idiocy. It was just plain stupid. So I'm gonna take this out
and I'm just going to make the felt seam on the machine like so, and then stitch this so it will not show at all on the outside. I've also abandoned the whole idea of doing the hem first because I kept messing it up and making it shorter and making it shorter, and I just couldn't get the fabric distribution to go very well. So all the fabric wanted to go, you know, when I folded the hem and tried to pin it, all the fabric just wanted to go to the center, and it came out so weird, and I couldn't get it. I just could not get it right. So I have abandoned that idea as well, and I'm just going to do a tiny rolled hem. And yeah. So I'm doing something that I'm not very proud of. I'm not even going to make a beautiful. I'm not going to make the rolled over seam as I said, because this is going to take me more time, and I'm choosing speed over beauty at this point because A, it's on the inside, nobody will see it except me, and B, I would rather rush this and not do this very well than have to rush the embroidery on that will be on the outside and people will see. So I am choosing to rush this part so that I have more time to spare for the stuff that needs to be really carefully done, like the embroidery. Oh man, I can't wait to do the embroidery. I love embroidery. Okay, hemming and seaming is done. I have this idea for the sleeves that I want to try out. So you can see I pinned, this is the outside, so I've pinned it, the edge of the sleeve, like this is 10 centimeters, so I've pinned it to the inside. Now I'm gonna put it on and see if it will do what I intend for it to do. Very carefully now, otherwise I will stab myself with 10 pins at once. Okay, so here is basically what I wanted to do is take the fabric, being careful not to take the 2 layers of fabric, and then fold it back. Hello, fast forward a little bit. The dress itself is done. I am now working on the embroidery. I decided to not film everything because I often work on stuff whilst my kids are playing, and obviously that's not a very good setup for filming. And besides, Juul already did a step-by-step, so I didn't think that my video could add anything to that. So I'll just sort of get you up to speed to what I've been doing. I've embroidered the sleeves, you know, as you can tell, I have pushed the sleeves back a bit, like this is all one piece. It's just that I picked a little bit picked the sleeve up and then sort of folded it back and stitched that in place. I don't know how much sense I'm making here, but you can tell, like I folded the sleeves inward, then I stitched that bit down, and then I picked it up and folded it back a little bit and stitched that into place. Anyway, I have stitched some edge. I have embroidered some edges. Not my best embroidery work ever, but you know. Also, I have run out of embroidery floss, and I don't know if I can get any new, because this was a color from a package by a certain chain store that is well known to Dutchies, and I shall not name here because I don't want to promote them, because they sell lots of cheap stuff that breaks really easily, except, you know, the embroidery floss, which was actually a nice find. But anyway, I hope that when I can go back to the craft store, I can get embroidery floss that is very close to it in color. And I cannot momentarily go to the craft store because my husband is ill and he has been tested for corona, but we haven't gotten the results back yet. So if the tests come back and it's negative, then I'll be off to the craft store in a jiffy. But as long as we don't know what it is, I need to not go to the craft store. But next weekend, this coming weekend, I mean, is CocoFit, and there is like this event where everybody shows off their reform dress. And I really want to get it done before then. So I'm going to focus on the front embroidery and the belt, which I have the beginnings of. Because I really want the belt to be embroidered. I think that would be very nice. As you can see, I haven't finished the edges yet. The idea is that I embroider the belt, and then on the back where the embroidery will show, I mean where the back edge of the embroidery will show, I'll just stitch another layer of this. So it will be quite, well, sturdy enough, I think. I might even cut some sturdy fabric and use that as interlining. And then stitch another layer of this gray fabric. And I'm so regretting this fabric choice, by the way. So regretting this. It's wibbly wobbly. It's very, very crinkly, and it's just, you know, you sneeze at it and it has wrinkles. So would not recommend. And if I'm going to make another reform dress, I will definitely use actual, like, historically accurate fabrics, because this obviously isn't very historically accurate, and it would have been worth it to splurge on some better fabrics. Oh well, we'll see where it'll end. Anyway, my husband's talking on the phone outside. He's got a really loud voice. Oh, now it's quiet. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I am so distracted. Shh. Anyway, it's been a real journey.